What is one piece of advice you would give? One word that separates good athletes from great athletes. What do college coaches check first? How do you think players should handle the outside stress and how?
Just like in sports, in life, we have. What are you gonna do when your collegiate or your pro career is over with? What are you gonna do when you get hurt? What are you gonna do when you can no longer play this game? What are you gonna do? You already are ahead of the curve within something that you know. Some of us are still trying to figure out the next step, the next action that we should take, when we've already built out 20 years or X amount of years of experience within a sport that we know so well. We've spent hours learning from a coach, learning from a mentor, studying the game. Just like in sports, in life, we have.
What's up, everybody? I am Coach Paris, and welcome to the Just Like in Sports, in Life video series where I talk with athletes, former athletes, and coaches around the country to explore how various aspects within the game of basketball has impacted their lives on and off the court. Now, because athletes are faced with so many challenges, such as the fear of failure, pressure to perform, balancing sports with life, along with facing setbacks such as injuries, we wanted to share real life stories to today's young athletes so that they can gain different insights into how to become aware, confident, resilient, and overcome these challenges. On today's episode, we have the luxury of speaking with Akeem Miskdeen. How are you, sir? How's your day going so far?
I'm doing great. We're in Columbus, so we just got off the bus, and we're just in a hotel relaxing to the game tomorrow.
Yes, sir. I love it. So the one question that I ask everyone that comes on to these episodes is, what does your morning routine look like? What does that look like for you?
My morning routine, I get up. One thing I always do is make my bed. I feel like I have to accomplish anything, something. That's the first thing I want to accomplish. I pray, and I get right to, getting ready to go to work. And then on my way to work, I call my daughter. My daughter lives in Virginia, so I make sure I call her. We pray before she goes to school, and we say our affirmations. And then I get right to work. I get right to what I need to do in the office. Whether that's film, whether that's shoot with guys, whether that's meeting with our staff. I get right to it.
I love that, man. Thanks for sharing that. And then just to let everybody know, so me and Akeem first met right before my freshman year going into high school. I don't know if you remember this, but you was known as the true point guard who had the handle and can get some players the ball. And just throughout the high school years, we spent about 3 to 4 hours with each other every day during high school, whether if it was practice or training, and even some summers. I remember, you taking all the guys and we're going to summer leagues during the off season. We trained together, we laughed together, we had encounters where we battled each other, and now we're both giving back to the game that has given us so much, but in different ways. So I wanted to bring you on, so I appreciate that. And now I want to kind of dive into your background and just to get to know a little bit about who Akeem is, your journey and how you came from where you started and where you're at now. So let's dive into that. So obviously you've made some strides and success in the game of basketball. You've played and coached at various levels, right? So let's start off by spending 5 to 10 minutes telling everybody your story, starting from when you first knew basketball was your first love or choice, all the way up until now.
What's up, Coach Paris here. Don't forget to hit the like and the subscribe button so that you can be notified every time that we release a new video. Also, go check out oneupbasketball.com so that you can see all the online courses that are changing athletes around the world. Let's get back to the video now. See you soon.
Oh man, long journey, but man, I've been blessed. This game has taken me a lot of places. I picked up the ball at a young age, probably like 5 or 6. My brothers, in particular, my brother that's like 4 years older than me, he was always showing me the way with basketball. And I started off at the Boys and Girls Club in Bellwood. For me, the Boys and Girls Club in the Park Districts, those were important to me. And that's where I started playing basketball, and that's where I got better. Even outdoors, man, I know I played in Memorial Park, Schroeder Park, Tent Park, everywhere outdoors in Maywood, Bellwood, Broadview area. Anywhere we can find a basketball. But I started playing at the Boys and Girls Club, then guys at the Boys and Girls Club where I'm from. I moved throughout the west side, west suburbs. So I was either going to St. Joe's or Proviso West. When I was growing up, it was more so Proviso West because my brothers went there, my sister went there. But a lot of players I knew from my neighborhood went to St. Joe's. And, a guy named Brandon Watkins, who's directly from my neighborhood, went to the Boys and Girls Club. They just came off a state championship. So I wanted to go to a high school where I can have a chance to go play college basketball. And I wanted to go to a prestigious high school, and St. Joseph was that high school. So I played, moving backwards, I played grade school basketball at MacArthur. Even before that, I played at Lincoln Elementary, Little Lincoln, as everyone will call it in Bellwood. I played there. And I played at the Boys and Girls Club in Memorial Park District in Bellwood. And those are my feeder teams. Then I got to St. Joe's, played at St. Joe's. I actually played freshman on the freshman team, which was crazy because I was regarded as one of the top young guys in Illinois, and I played freshman. But Pingatore wanted me to play on that level because that was the first year he had a team that really struggled. The seniors, they really struggled, and he didn't want them to pass down anything on me. So I might have been the first freshman to play freshman the whole season, then play like 15 minutes in a varsity game and during the playoffs. So I actually played a varsity game. Then next 3 years, I played varsity. Sophomore year, I would say my best year, honestly, was my sophomore year. I played varsity. I got a chance to, play against guys that we looked up to in the neighborhood, like D Brown, Shannon Brown, those guys, and I lost to them for 2 straight years. And then my senior year, we finally beat them. But it was up and down. There was a lot of people thought I was going to transfer after my junior year. I didn't have a great junior year, but I'm not a transfer guy. I stuck it out and stayed the course. And I would tell everyone, no matter 7th grade, 8th grade, you got to get better. And one thing that I love to hoop, I love the competition, but I didn't work out as much. A lot of people have the workout guys, and that's great, man. If you can have a combination of working out and competing, I love to compete. Like go to Memorial, go to wherever it's 5-on-5. That's where I want to be. But I probably needed to split time working on my craft just with an individual workout guy. But when we were coming up, we didn't really have that many individual workout guys. It was like, man, get in the gym on your own or get in the gym with your friend. So if I can go back, I would have did more of that. So I never got better, especially with my jump shot. I always had handles, always can pass it, always can do it in. And I was really little. So with that being said, I wasn't a Division I player. So I had to get over that fact. But I wanted to see if I can go Division I. So I went junior college and played for Rodale Davis. So Rodale Davis was the assistant coach at Proviso East High School. And he saw me play against them numerous of times. And he recruited me to go out to Cheyenne, Wyoming. So I played 2 years at Laramie County Community College in Cheyenne, Wyoming. And it was a great experience, man. Something new, something unique. I didn't know what to expect. I'm from the suburbs of Chicago, and I'm out in Wyoming. It was a unique experience. It broadened my horizon. And that's why I was like, all right, I'm not gonna be in the NBA. I'm probably not gonna play professional. So let me take advantage of this opportunity to get an education, because I want to coach. I knew I wanted to coach since 6th grade. So I played 2 years at Laramie County, and I played at Queens University. Had great careers there, all-time assist leader at Laramie County. We went to tournament at Queens University, all-conference tournament team, and had some good accolades. But to me, it wasn't about that. I just wanted to go somewhere I can win and put myself in a position to try to coach. So after I finished at Queens, man, I was one of those guys that sent a bunch of letters, emails to coaches. I'll never forget, I emailed Tom Crean when he got the Indiana job. And I'm so naive to coaching that I emailed him and asked to be a director of ops. And that's like, we go head coach, assistants. At that time, it was like director of ops was like the 4th guy on the staff. And I emailed him to like, hey, let me be the 4th guy on the staff, basically, in less words than that. But my coaches got with me, and I got an opportunity at Hampton University as a volunteer guy. So when I went to Hampton, I slept on one of the coaches' couches for the whole summer. And I just volunteered. So I had a regular job from 8 to 2. I was selling sandwiches in the shipyard from 8 to 2. Then I would literally change in the car and go work at Hampton from like 2:30 to 1 a.m. as long as they need me, and I would do it all over again. And my boss at the sandwich shop, he was fortunate enough to let me go travel, so I was able to be a director of ops, but in a volunteer capacity. Then from there, I coached at Mount Olive University, a team. It's Mount Olive University now, but it was college when I played. A team that I played against. So I got that job for 1 year. Then my coach hired me. The coach who coached me at Queens, he got a job at Wingate. He hired me, and I stayed there for a year. And honestly, I was like, my path, I'm gonna be a head Division II coach. I wasn't even thinking Division I. I went from being like, I'm gonna be a high school coach, be a Division II coach, and then I got an opportunity at Hampton. And to be honest with you, when I got the call to go back to Hampton, I was at Wingate University, and I didn't want to leave. I was comfortable. I was like, man, I can just ride this thing out, be a D2 head coach. Life was good. Making okay money, not great, but it was very convenient working from the coach that I played for. But my coach, I talked to Brian Good, he was my coach at Wingate. I talked to him about it, and he said, nah, you got to take this opportunity. I had an opportunity like this. I passed up. Who knows what my career will be now? So I took the opportunity at Hampton, was at Hampton for 5 years, was associate head coach the last 3. We went to back-to-back tournaments my last 2 years. Then I got a call from Rob Senderoff at Kent State, and I went to Kent State for 2 years. I might be the first mid-major assistant to go 3 straight tournaments.
Man, that may be a fact check.
Yeah, man, that was crazy. I was like, oh, this is easy. This is easy. I went to a tournament at Kent State. Then I got a call from Dusty May, who was the associate coach or the assistant coach at Florida, and he got the job at Florida Atlantic. And I knew at some point I would have to take a chance and get out the region that I was comfortable with. And I took a chance. I was like, hey, I'm still young. Let me take a chance. So I went with Dusty May for 3 years at Florida Atlantic, helped him get established. It was a program that wasn't that good, and he took it to new heights. So I was with him for 3 years, and I went to University of Florida for a year. And then Coach White, Mike White, was the head coach at Florida. He chose to leave to go to Georgia, so I was at Georgia for 2 years. Then Dusty May goes to the Final Four at Florida Atlantic. He goes back to the tournament, and he ends up getting Michigan, and he called me, and I jumped at the chance to get back to the Midwest. We grew up watching Big Ten basketball. That's in my blood. So I jumped at the chance to come to Michigan with him and try to help Michigan get back on track. They struggled last year, but Michigan is a prestigious program, and I jumped at that chance to get back here in the Midwest and work in Michigan.
I love it, man. So as I'm hearing your story, I heard you say a few times where, and I'm going off topic just a little bit, but I heard you say a few times where, you know what, I was just planning to do this, and then you kept raising the bar. You kept going through, and that's kind of the topic that we go talk about today, where, your resilience and your ability just to love the game kept pushing you through, and hearing you sleeping on a couch and doing certain things. And I knew you were at certain schools, but I didn't know the whole, full story. But being able to see your journey now is more appreciated. And when you hear that, it's like, never stop, like keep going, because even when you think that you're trying to go somewhere, there's more out there for you. So thanks for sharing that. And I want to transition into the next. So today's topic is leadership and how mental toughness impacts your ability. We all know that important leadership, how important it is off and on the court, but we want to highlight how building mental toughness and resilience will brightly shine when leading. So let's dive into how college coaches evaluate a player's mental game on and off the court. I felt like you would be the best person to answer these questions. So schools are giving out hundreds of thousands of dollars right now, Akeem, if not millions, for recruits, because they want to build a good program and they also want to win at the same time. So this means they need to ensure that they have the right person or the right team, picking the right players when they're recruiting. Question for you: are college coaches evaluating the mental state of athletes prior to giving them these scholarships? If so, what are some key mental attributes that they're actually looking for?
Yeah, we definitely are. I mean, you hear it all the time. The NBA goes digging, and same with college. At least here at Michigan, we want to try to get the best student athlete we can possibly get. So we're researching everything. We're researching their parents. When we go to games, we're evaluating how they handle adversity, how they handle success, how their parents are in the crowd, because it's a lot of NIL money being given out to give to these guys, which that's great, man. That's awesome for these guys to get this money, but we want to make sure we're putting it in the right hands and that they're doing the right things with it and on and off the court. So we're watching these guys every step of the way. So we monitor everything. Assistant coaches, and we're like CIA agents. So we're, we're we're looking at everything a kid does. There's nothing that we don't know or won't know because we're gonna ask everybody. When we're evaluating a game, and we feel that, we feel like, all right, Vontae Davis is really good, and I want to get to know him. So I got to get to know his parents. I got to get to know his teachers. I got to get to know, obviously, his coach. Because sometimes a coach at a high school will tell you, good stuff. They want what coach wouldn't want their player to go to Michigan? So they're going to tell you, everything you need to hear. So we're going to ask the assistant coach. We're going to walk through school and ask, hey, how is Vontae? Is he a good person? And for us here at Michigan, if we hear rumblings that you're not, it's probably going to be unlikely that we're going to be able to recruit you and give you hundreds of $1,000s to play.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. And then just to let everybody know, Vontae is me too. So, just quick before we go in. So I was always called Vontae until I got to college. And that's when you go to college, they really find out what your first name is and they start using it. And that's when I started using Paris. But it's a refreshing feeling to hear that name because it's like, yeah, we've known each other for quite some time. So now you talked a little bit about what you guys are looking for, but let's talk about some of those red flags. Are there any red flags that coaches notice when evaluating athletes' mindset and say, well, this is something we might want to stay away from?
Yeah, usually if the athlete talks about money first. I just told a story about how I got in coaching. I volunteered, so it was for the love of the game. So you want someone that loves it, and obviously you're gonna get your dessert at the end. You want someone that really loves it and want to get better and want to play at the highest level and know that it's not gonna be an all be all with the money you'll get. And obviously they're gonna get great. They're gonna be paid great, but we want somebody that really loves basketball, that's a joy to be around. We don't really want a red flag for us is somebody with bad body language on the court, somebody that's talking to their teammates all the time inappropriately. We both play the game. We know we're going to have some confrontation, because we're competitors. But if it's confrontation every second, it's always somebody else's fault. That's a red flag for us. We want somebody that uplifts their teammates too, that communicates really well. And we want them to have parents that we don't mind parents. Parents are going to be parents in the AU tournament, but we don't want them getting in a fight with refs and getting in a fight with coaches and blaming coaches all the time. That's a red flag with us too. So I would say if it's three things, I would say someone that's looking for a big payday right away and not even talking about the basketball aspect of it. The other thing I would say is lack of humility on the court and off the court. And the third thing I would say is just parents playing the blame game. We wouldn't like anybody playing the blame game. I like to hear a parent say, man, he got to rebound better. He got to do this better. Yeah. And that's the type of parents we want. We want parents that's really hard on them because that let us know that we can coach them. Yes. If you've been coached by your parents, we know that we're going to be able to coach. There's nothing that we can tell you that's going to break you because your parents are already being hard on you.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. And all those things that you mentioned, to be honest with you, that's being a good person. Right, those same attributes is what you need outside of the court. So that's big. Let's dive into the role of leadership and coachability. So one thing I've seen in you that you've done countless of times before I even knew you, and even while we played together, is lead your team on and off the court. I remember the first time seeing you play at Memorial Park District and witness how you were able to facilitate the ball and lead your team. It was just something about how you had the ball in your hand and how people moved. It was just a different feel. It wasn't like the ball was in your hand and you was just the entire show. The second time I was able to see your leadership ability is when I decided to come to St. Joe's. I remember you coaching me through how to speak to Coach Ping, like actually telling me to look Ping in his eye, sit up straight when I first go into his office and talk to him. That was like huge for me because I'm like, I got this guy that's not too much older than me, but telling me how to do something right for someone that I really respect. And I felt like you were on that level of leadership. So I really appreciate that, and thank you for doing that. So there's been times when you came up to me and said, hey, you need to work on your game, you need to work on your handles, you need to do this, you need to do that. And you said it in a way where it wasn't like downing me or trying to belittle me or make fun of it, but when you said it and it came from you, I felt that you wanted me to get better, and that was real key. So when you are a point guard, it is important that you have the connection and have a pulse on what the coach is also thinking about and what he wants out of the team as well. In school, I felt like you were that player coach that did and said certain things to us as players that helped us to know what the coach was looking for. With you being in that situation, how do you believe coaches determine if a player is a leader or just a great individual performer? Like just think about, and it could be outside of Ping, but obviously he made, you that guy, not just because you're a point guard, because I've seen situations where people is that guy and they're not the point guard, but they're just that vocal leadership. But how do coaches determine that? What are they really looking for?
Well, we look at who the players flock to. I mean, it's kind of easy to tell who the players flock to, or do the players flock to nobody? That means you don't have any leaders. So we look, when there was an incident in the game a couple weeks ago when our player challenged one of our best players at the end of the game, and he looked in his eyes, the player that challenged him, and said, "Man, you can't do that." And our best player looked at him and said, "Yeah." I was like, "Dang, that might be our leader right there," because of the way his response. So it's easy for us to tell who the leaders are. Players flock to real dudes, real people, and we talked about being a good person. Coach always says this. Coach May always says this. The scouts, they always tell him they want a savage on the court and a great person off the court. And you know who the savages are. And for the people out there, a savage in our mind is someone that tries to make the right play all the time, that plays so hard that he may have to ask us for a sub, that gives the team everything he has, whatever role the team asks him to do. And usually those guys are the leaders, either by what they're doing or by being a leader vocally. And that's who the leaders are. And you gotta have one thing I thought I wasn't the greatest player in the world, but I thought I had emotional intelligence. Just feel the room and feel how to speak to you, how to speak to this person, how to speak, because you can't talk to everyone the same. It's almost like a basketball love language. Like I got to talk to you this way. I got to talk to someone else this way. And if you can do that, I think you become a good leader. And if you can put the onus on yourself, I always say, don't say, "Man, I did this." Say, we got to add "we" into it. Like, "Man, we got to be better, guys." Then you can check someone. Almost add the plural sense of it into it. Then that feels comfortable. Like if I come to you and say, "We have to run back on defense, guys. I got to do better." "Hey, Vaughn, you got to run back though, man." I think that makes them take their shield down and say, "Yeah, you're right, coach. You're right, Akeem." I think that's a big part of leadership. And when you find people that can lead like that and can hoop, man, you as a coach, I get excited.
Man, that's big. And I tell my son that all the time. And one of the things I've been diving heavy on is identity, right? And there's few things that makes up your identity, and it's your past, the people, priorities, purpose, and then your personality. And sometimes our personality gets in the way, but then you look at someone like D Rose, who's kind of calm, chill, but he's that savage on the court, but he leads by his actions. And being able to have exactly what you said, being able to have that balance, that's key. Have you ever seen a talented athlete miss out on opportunities because of their attitude issues? I know the answer, but definitely want to get your take on that.
So many that we could probably talk about in our neighborhood, but yeah, so many just because their attitude and not being humble, thinking they're the best thing since sliced bread. I mean, that's the thing. If you're not humble, that means you're not going to be coachable. You're not going to be able to take constructive criticism. And if you're not taking it on the court, I mean, I'm sure you're not taking it off the court. We always have a saying everywhere I've been is, "Man, what you're doing off the court, on the court actually tells me what you're doing off the court." If you don't know some of our simple plays, like no telling what you're doing you're not doing your work off the court. If you don't know play ran for you, you're not going to pass the quiz or you're not going to do the things you need to do off the court. So a lot of stuff, if your life is messy on the court, sometimes your life is messy off the court too. So it's a lot of players, man, that lost on the opportunities because of just simply not being a good person and not want to be coachable and not taking constructive criticism. The people who always want to learn and grow, they become more successful. That's just in life. The people that don't want to learn and grow, they stunt their growth.
No, let's dive into the next one. So game day mindset, how to stay focused under pressure. So when you think of the big time schools and the elite athletes that play for them, there are certain things that sets them apart. And one of those things is a routine. Talk about one routine that your team has, which you believe is or has been the key to your team's success.
Besides shooting a lot, do a lot of shooting. Just our preparation, the routine of our preparation. We really, as a staff and as a program, we really watch a lot of film and prepare. You know, we do a lot of switching on defense, and this is just an example. We do a lot of switching on defense. So when you switch out to a man, you gotta understand you might be leaving a guy that can't shoot and switching on to a guy that can shoot. So if the ball is coming at you, you got to understand, all right, can this guy shoot or can this guy not shoot? Because you're switching for 40 minutes, you're switching. So just the preparation and our routine on film is really key. And I'll give our strength coach, he's a beast, Matt Ulrich. We do a thing called prehab. So I'll give a little sneak peek in our program. Prehab is basically prevention of any injuries. You know, you hear rehab for an injury. We do prehab. So just some exercises that get our guys ready, that prevents any ankle rolls or anything like that. And sometimes, you know, to be honest, our guys get annoyed with it, but they don't understand how beneficial it is for them. So that's like one routine I would say, and that and film. Then the last thing I'll give you is right before we actually did this, and I was like, what are we doing? But it actually helped me, especially on the road. So, you know, on the road, they give you do the national anthem. They call out your team's start lineup, and they do the other team. And at big university that I'm at and other schools that we play, it's a whole scene. They're gonna do the video board, then they call out that team. So you got a lot of minutes in between. So we just get in a circle and we don't say anything. We're just in the middle circle, and it's your time, honestly, to visualize and meditate. And I do deep breathing. Some of our guys do deep breathing. Some of our guys visualize what they're going to do in the court, or visualize the first play or the defense assignment. So those three things are some of the things we do routine-wise that helps us continue to be successful.
Appreciate that. When you have parents, multiple coaches, media, fans, they're pushing so much on the players these days, and that's, in my opinion, it may be true for everyone else. How do you think players should handle the outside stress and how high pressure situations to perform at such a high level, right? I feel like we had pressure when we were younger, but I feel like it's heightened now with the social media and everything. And now you have people paying for trainers. It's like you're demanded to train, you're demanded to do everything so much. And I think that the standards for the coaching should be a little bit higher too, because we're saying that, hey, you have so much access and what the game has evolved, you should be doing more now. But what are your thoughts on that? Like, how do you think players should handle that stress?
I actually think they struggle with having success more than adversity now because of the social media. I mean, we have MySpace, top 8, so Facebook, but these guys have a lot of people hitting them in their circle and a lot of people on social media. And it's a lot of betting going on. So you can get some bots hitting you. You can get random fans threatening your life. So they got a lot going on in their life. I would tell them, and it's hard. Like, I get it. Like, I would encourage them to have the comments off, because let's be real. We say get off social media. They're not gonna get off social media. So I would probably say have the comments off. But I think the biggest challenge they have is when they do have success, all the love they get, I think sometimes it can get into your head and can make you comfortable and not do your routine. And that's the thing you have to continue to do when you have a level of success. You have to continue the routine and maybe even go harder and try to brainwash yourself like, man, I gotta be better. I'm having some success, but I gotta be better. But the only thing I can encourage them to do is try to stay off social media and try to limit the people you talk to. When it's, hey, You might have to tell your mom and dad, hey, mom and dad, I just want y'all to be mom and dad. I let my coaches coach, hey, with your circle. Hey, let's just talk about fun stuff, man. Because it's so much of basketball. Like, who do you go to, your outlet, when you're struggling or something, and they're talking about basketball. Let's talk about a movie. Let's talk about something fun to do. Give me some jokes or something so you can lighten the mood because they do have a lot of pressure on them. And it's way different than what we had. We put more pressure on ourselves and each other. We held each other more accountable. Now, social media puts more pressure on them and gives them the love too.
No, I appreciate that. When we were young, and you just reminded me, I remember MySpace. I don't remember having social media. I guess we would have to go to a desktop and actually get on MySpace. Now it's in your hand, right? So of course there was TV, video games, and other things that I believe you and I probably didn't do much of. But I remember seeing you read the newspaper. I came in Coach B's office one time and you had the newspaper. This was the first time I seen someone close in age reading a newspaper. And I walked up, I'm like, this guy is really on some mature type level trying to see what the outside world looked like. Today, athletes are drowning in social media, not really understanding its impact to their life in this game of basketball. How much do coaches really pay attention to an athlete's social media presence?
Man, a ton. I told you we're the CIA, so I'm always on recruit social media because I want to know who they are. And honestly, there's no better way than social media because they post everything. So we pay attention to it a lot. Um, I'm always on our recruit social media trying to figure out what they like, who they dating, everything, and it helps me communicate with them. If I see them, like yesterday was Valentine's Day, if I see them post a picture about their girlfriend, I can text them, man, I hope y'all had a good Valentine's Day. It's a conversation starter. Like, let's be real, I'm about to be 40, so talking to a 16-year-old I got to find ways to talk to them. I'm not going to be able to talk to them. I don't play video games, but I can talk to them about basketball. I can talk to them about, everyday life. I can talk to them about, what their parents are doing, or like you said, like I just said with Valentine's Day, hey, what you do for Valentine's Day? Hey, I went to the movies, I did this. So I use social media in that aspect, and also try to find out, if they're a good enough person for our program. We're not about to sign anyone here at Michigan that's going to post some inappropriate stuff on social media. So that's, and not too many universities would sign anyone that can post. There's so many good players out here, and even with the transfer portal, especially if you're a high school kid, I would never put myself in a situation to not get recruited because we can easily go to the portal. And obviously here at Michigan, we want to get guys out the portal in high school guys, but don't limit your chances by posting stuff on there. So with all that being said, we're on there. I'm telling you, we're private investigators on that.
Appreciate that. If a player has talent but has been unseen and they're coming closer to their senior year in high school, what is one piece of advice you would give them so that they can have a chance at receiving a scholarship?
Man, obviously try to get your film out to any colleges you can, and be open to, every school. You play NAIA, I play Division II, I play junior college. So, keep an open mind. Don't just say, and we both did it. I did it. I want to go Division I. Just keep an open mind to any school, especially I'm not condoning anyone transfer, but that's the age we in. You can always play yourself up to a situation that you may have dreamt of. So I would just say, just try to get your film out any way possible, and contact coaches. It's hard to blindly contact coaches. So contact your high school coach and kind of stay on your high school coaches, or contact coaches in your league that you play well against, and just ask them, hey, you know any college coaches that might be interested? You never know.
No, I appreciate that. So I want to dive into our next segment, which is rapid fire questions. It's just 5 questions. I'm going to ramp it off. The first thing that comes to your mind, just quickly answer it. All right. One word that separates good athletes from great athletes.
Humility.
What's harder, physical training or mental training?
Mental.
Describe coachability in one sentence.
Coachable person is humble, a good listener, and works hard.
What do college coaches check first, stats or mindset?
Mindsets. Oh, both. I'll take that back. Both.
One thing all D1 athletes have in common.
Work ethic.
One.
Got you. No, so appreciate you. So today we talked about a lot. I just wanted to emphasize the word leadership again. And this is for everyone that's out there that's listening. When you're out there in the world, lead. When you are posting on social media, lead. When you are with a group of friends and you know a better decision needs to be made, lead. When the coach needs someone to do things that no one else is doing, lead. Leadership is at the heart of everything we discussed today. Every player has a role, and success comes from working together with purpose. Off the court, the same principles apply. Leading effectively means guiding, supporting, and making the right moves at the right time. Whether in sports or life, strong leadership creates opportunities and build trust and drive success. Now that we're at the end of the episode, this is where I ask you, Akeem, to just share one thing, one tip, one insight, what you've learned in your journey that will benefit all basketball athletes across the world. Just share one thing.
And you actually said it in yours. I'll give one story of leadership. Everyone know we both play for Gene Pinkerton, who's a Hall of Fame coach, one of the best coaches that I ever played for, one of the best human beings that I know. And we talk about leadership. Sometimes leading is serving at the bottom level, right? And doing stuff that you would never think a leader should do. You know, when someone sees a leader get the bags off the bus or do this and do that, and bring me back to the story of Coach Pinkerton. This man used to sweep the floor for bingo, take up the tape with us. So he was one of those guys that did everything that he asked us to do. So when you see that, you want to follow that. You want to follow that leadership. You want to, whether it's play harder for that coach or whether listen to the athlete. And I thought we all did a good job of following that and taking that and running with it. And it's the reason why a lot of us are having success with our families and in our careers, because we saw good leadership growing up, and good leadership is serving others at the ground level. You know, well, that's, man, I'm about to go mop these floors and show you, like, hey, this is how you mop a floor. I'm gonna do this or that, because that's what we saw from Memorial Park, from Boys and Girls Club. I was very fortunate to see Mr. Hightower at the Memorial Park, Ed Shin at Boys and Girls Club, then go play for a great coach and Gene Pinkerton, play for a great junior college coach. They all did the same thing. My junior college coach, Royal Davis, my other coach, Brian Good, I was very blessed, and I'm lucky. I hope all athletes get to experience this. I hope I'm like this. They all did all the small things that stuck with me, that made me want to do those small things. So I'm not ashamed to go sweep a floor. I'm not too big to do that. I'm not too big to get bags off a bus. I'm not too big to do anything, because I saw them do it. And so I would say leadership is doing the small things and not having any ill will toward doing the small things, just enjoying it. And that's leadership.
Excellent, man. I would like to thank you for just stopping past, giving me the time, and sharing valuable knowledge, experience, and insights into your basketball journey on and off the court. And as always, I'd like to thank everybody that's just tuning in. Ensure you hit the like, follow, subscribe button so you can be notified on anything else that's coming up as far as training videos and more of these episodes. If you haven't already, visit oneupbasketball.com to check out the online courses that's changing lives across the world. And remember to stay one up on your competition, which is you. Akeem, you the man, bro. I still look up to you. I think about you. Keep rocking out. Congratulations on everything. Keep moving, my man. We'll talk soon.
Just like in sports and life, we have